Hey, Danny and Mike listeners, before we get to the episode today, I wanted to ask a favor. Our new network, the Last Podcast Network, is doing a survey which will in turn improve the content that you hear. It only takes a minute, it's all confidential, and it's just some questions about your listening habits. You can find the link in our description of this very episode. 2, 3, 4.
The world was so big, and I was so small. Your voice was always the loudest of all. This just in, handed to me. We've got one of the podcast originators. It has been identified as Michael C. Morona in the emergency room with acute abdominal pain.
What?
Acute abdominal pain. While working in the South Bronx, he took ill, and eventually, many hours later after the street sweeper moved and he found alternate side street parking, walked himself into the worst emergency room in New York City, Woodhull Hospital.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
And complained of his symptoms.
Welcome to the Adventures of Danny and Mike. To my right, Mr. Danny Tamborelli.
I'm on the scene.
And on his right, Mr. Michael C. Morona.
I'm the one being interviewed from the gurney.
And my name is Jeremy. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you are just tuning in, if you're listening to this episode, Michael has an announcement to make.
I'm not dead.
He's still
Well,
alive.
thank goodness for that.
He's still alive.
I am not dead.
It sounds like you've had a rough few days here.
6 days ago at this time, I was recovering from an operation to remove my appendix.
So yeah,
Much like the operation table that we've thrown Tide Pods into.
Operation
live-
Operation Cornhole.
Operation Cornhole. Because there's definitely appendixes in there.
Dude, that's foreshadowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost
It
like
was your
that's a
idea.
deep foreshadow.
Yeah.
Too.
You thought about it. You wanted it.
yeah.
Jeremy gave it to you.
Well,
And then, you gave it to him.
I printed it. You did all the work, really.
Well, you cut it out, Mike.
I'm getting credit.
You cut it out.
Jeremy.
There's that picture. There's
Yeah.
a picture of some dude in
Cut
Antarctica.
it out.
You know, there's a picture of some doctor in Antarctica who's performing surgery on himself because he has to. You should check. That's a good, not fact check, but that should go on the website. 'Cause
Okay.
it's a picture of this dude straight up like fixing his intestines or doing something, and he's like working on himself.
I'm the only one qualified here.
Yeah, I swear that's basically what it was.
Sorry, there are
And,
only 4 people.
So yeah, so that's basically what Mike did, right?
No.
Oh, no, you had somebody else do it for you?
I waited, like I said, I was good, and I waited for alternate side of the street parking. Found a Thursday spot, so parked there, and then suffered overnight in the emergency room and got operated on in the morning.
What does it
Yeah.
feel like? Like, how did you know that you were like, I have to go
I
to
know.
the hospital?
Because I still have my appendix. I'm 40 years old. Still had my appendix. I'm 40 years old. And it's very specific.
But did
like,
you think it was your appendix?
right away?
How do you know that?
Yeah, how do
couldn't
you
have been
know?
like
Because I'm a nerd.
your liver could have been kidney failure, gallstones.
Because I'm a nerd.
Because
Kidney stones.
okay, what's a symptom when for you to feel that?
We're
Oh
gonna-
my gosh, this is my appendix.
Here we go. There's the big 5. The big
Mike,
5.
For the listener, Mike has a printout of looks like a script he's
The
going to
big-
read.
So this is
Says,
some
I have his
rough
urine-
notes.
I have his urinalysis right here.
Rough notes from my one-man show called Appendix: An Unnecessary Man.
So you parked your car and then you started having pains, or were you like
Oh,
feeling
no.
He
weird?
was
no.
having
I
him
was-
full
I
on.
was
It's
into-
like he was going into labor, but still decided to abide by the rules of law, which is really amazing and commendable.
I didn't want a ticket on top of it.
On top of
hospital.
surgery costs. Yeah.
So yeah, the big 5 is fever, vomiting,
Okay. You
intense.
vomit sometimes, so that's
Let's not talk about our reunion.
okie dokie.
So the big 5 are fever, vomiting, intense abdominal pain that moves down to the right, which I had big
Down
time.
and to the right.
Yeah,
Not okay.
it
'Cause
follows
it follows the appendix.
Yeah, and there's 2 other ones that suck. Couldn't walk right
Mm-hmm.
because of the binding
Okay.
agent in here, And what was the other one? Oh, I couldn't shit and I couldn't fart.
You couldn't shit or fart?
Yeah.
I would know that something was very wrong with Michael if he couldn't fart.
Yeah.
Shitting, you could be constipated,
I'm
but
saying you
I've
set your watch by me farting.
That's true. That's true. Every time we go anywhere for the weekend, I don't look at my phone once.
Yeah.
I know I know.
Sun's
Just
out.
like no, it's just like we get in the car. Well, I guess it's 3:30.
I don't look
I'll
at
hear from you
my
again after 5. Up there.
I've been reliable in our travels with our not eating blood puddings and
Oof.
not eating, right? I've been good.
Yeah.
On the road, we do indulge when we indulge, but for the most part, I feel like I'm insensible. So I don't know where the frick this came from.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the hospital. My uncle works at the hospital. I luckily have family like throughout the healthcare network.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody, just hit me up after the show.
You need to go to Woodhall.
But I woke up to Uncle Tommy. He was. I was whacked out still, and I was like, with my dry mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
What-
They operate on you.
Yeah.
I had anesthesia, so I woke up extremely dry, parched. Yeah. And I was whacked out. And then my mom came by later, and Adele came by with G, and it was so great to see my son, and then so tough to not be able to pick him up and have to keep him off me.
Yeah.
Because I was scared about him punching me in the gut. I should wait at least 2 years for that. Until he starts understanding all my snide remarks. Maybe he already understands. Yeah, but I'm not allowed
Got
to.
a jabby elbow.
Exactly.
Gee.
It's going to be a power forward. And I feel like just needed to rest and for about a day. And I left on Saturday afternoon.
And you're up. You're walking around.
Without a ticket.
For the listener,
Yeah.
and if you're watching, you can see, but Michael C. Morona is a man who wears Carhartts and jean shorts, cargo shorts, high raised ones.
Okay,
Anything that had a belt buckle on him. But
could you cut back on like half of that so I could maybe meet some people in my life?
Hey man, you gotta wear what you gotta wear for the job, man. You gotta have pockets for stuff.
Got it.
I understand.
Yes.
But you're in these very nice ski.
Oh yeah,
sort of.
they're
They're not like normal sweatpants. These are like ski. Like I'm in the lodge hanging out after après ski. These are après ski.
They're fleecy sweatpants.
fleecy.
From the good
There you
people
go.
at REI, which I'm sure they're not made here in America.
That is not a brand you don't hate.
No, it's a brand actually that I like.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll sponsor us like any other.
Well, maybe they can because look, you're recovering in their clothing.
So we're just going to read you a little bit now.
Okay,
God.
hit us.
Okay. End of the first paragraph. The patient tolerated the procedure well. I'm gonna pass this to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
The appendix is thickened and measures approximately 9 millimeters in transverse dimension. There is evidence of periappendiceal and pericecal inflammatory change.
First fact check of the day.
That's
So you
like
have fecal change.
pericecal.
Pericecal,
That's
not
like
pericecal.
it's like the
pericecal.
ass end of your large intestine. Minimal thickening involving the base of the cecum is noted.
What does that mean?
Exactly. You take your mind and run. Previous findings are consistent with acute appendicitis. AKA, he was right.
Acute appendicitis.
Okay,
so you walked in and you said, "I think I'm having an appendicitis."
Yeah, and then 9 hours later, I was in the operating room.
Wow.
You're starting from lower thorax.
Oh,
You started
lower thorax.
As we continue.
The lung bases are clear. There's no evidence of pericardial or pleural effusion.
Meaning that my heart and lung membranes were all
okay.
Yeah.
Then nothing got affected.
Yeah. Abdomen and I want Jeremy to read abdomen and
Okay.
pelvis.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you got-
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, that's a big one. It's a big paragraph, Jeremy.
Do you want me to
I hope
read
you
it
can
like the micro
Can you read
machines
it?
guy?
Can you? No, don't read it like the micro
No,
machines
I
guy,
want you to
but
wrap
can
your mind
I
around
want you
some of
to
that.
try to make sure you say all the words right and throw out your Ohio public education.
Oh, shut up, Jersey.
Wow.
Abdomen and pelvis. There's evidence of calcifications involving the dome of the right lobe of the liver, suggesting calcified granola.
Granuloma.
That's what I said. No other focal liver massages are noted. The gallbladder, spleen, pancreas, gallbladder, you said gallbladder twice, kidneys, and adrenal glands are unremarkable. Damn, you got unremarkable adrenal glands.
Unremarkable adrenal glands.
I wanted you to get to
Not only are they unremarkable, but they mention gallbladder twice. So they're saying your gallbladder sucks. There's no evidence of intraphetic or extraphetic biliary ductal dilation. There's no evidence of peristranding or hypernosis. All right, do you want to do the bowels?
Oh, you know I do.
Tell us about your bowels.
Oh my God, this is a very interesting podcast.
There is no evidence of bowel obstruction or ascites.
Oh, get it? I see what
The greater omentum and small bowel mesentery is
unremarkable.
Thank you. Okay, this is great. The urinary bladder and intrapelvic structures are
Unremarkable.
grossly unremarkable.
Wow.
That's like a B plus. I
So
think.
wait, when they say unremarkable, that's good because they're like, fuck, yeah, like nothing.
Yeah,
nothing's going
nothing to
on
see
here.
here.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah.
Move along.
So, on my chest X-ray,
They say you're very chesty.
visualized osseous structures are grossly unremarkable bones.
They were visualizing his chest.
My bones were fine. Check it out. The cardiac silhouette is normal in size and position. You know what that means? Mike Morona's heart is in the right place. My heart is in the right
That
place.
is documented,
So,
ladies and
in the
gentlemen.
future,
You
bust out that paper.
You'll
and be
always
like,
have that. Michael C. Morona's heart is always in the right place.
There is no consolidation, vascular congestion, or pleural effusions. That's good. I
Yeah, I
think.
guess.
That's good. And there's no evidence.
How do they get into all this stuff?
There is no evidence of pneumothorax.
Oh, thank God.
Pneumothorax. Pneumothorax.
It's a biology-themed Anthrax cover band.
It's like learn to breathe.
So, okay. So
So unremarkable is good.
Yes,
That's all I've
that's
learned
great.
from this so far.
Yeah. What happened was everything outside of that puffed up little thing that looked like this at the end of my large intestine, everything else was remarkable or grossly unremarkable. Except for my liver granola.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah, what's that liver granola like? You got to stop eating that shit.
Yeah. It's so crunchy. Yeah, and I had like a lot of chicken broth and sugar-free Jello and apple juice.
Right. Apple juice is big in
hospitals. Yeah.
I didn't have the tea each time, and my mom's like, "Oh, I'm taking these tea bags." Classic. Never grew out of it.
She wrap them up in a napkin.
They wrapped them up in a napkin. Decaf tea bags. You never have too many.
Yeah,
of
you
those.
never have enough.
Never have too many of those.
You never know when you want to bust out a decaf.
Yeah, just enjoy a tea, but not all the way through. And when you when I got home, I just kind of like shuffled up the stairs very, very slowly.
Did
As slowly as it took you to tell that? What happened? Is there leaking? Something leaking?
Maybe I'm just sweating. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
me
gosh.
sweating. That's me
what's up?
sweating, thinking
Wow.
about my
so
plight.
what's happened? You've lost you've lost your appendix and you've gained some extra sweat glands? Because I ain't sweating in here.
Well,
this is a
let's
first.
not.
You've got a
You're
sheen.
glossy.
I'm over.
I'm not
Sheeny.
glossy.
You're sheeny.
But you understand that you're not wearing fleece. I'm wearing my ski.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm
And you're
triple.
always,
I've
but
tripled
you're
the
always wearing
insulating
thick
power.
socks and just so you know, the
I don't
more
always wear
you're-
thick socks, but
you wear
these
pretty
are
thick
these are
socks,
some
usually.
wool action.
You're cozy.
Did he call me a thick socker?
Well,
Yeah, you're definitely a thick socker.
But
Did he call me
you're-
a thick sock?
your thick socks are.
Your thick socks
Unremarkable.
make you warmer because if you have a little bit of breathability on your ankles, that's where you get your heat and cold.
You're
from,
basically
bro.
begging him to take his socks off.
Yeah, that's a really bad idea,
Drape
right?
them,
Real
drape
bad
them
idea.
on your drape
No,
them on
thank
your
you.
microphone stand.
No, thank you.
So
no,
when-
no.
Wednesday, went to a baby. Wednesday night went to like a baby development class, and then had some ice cream after, and I started feeling shitty on Thursday. So
Mm.
I don't know if you blame the babies or the ice cream. Blame Mr. Softy
Yeah, do they
over
tell
by
you?
Union.
Do they tell you
by
why
the Flatiron?
Yeah,
no.
like
appendicitis happens?
No. They can't reach backwards in time.
Hmm.
It's a public hospital. Would you think I
They
was at?
can't reach backwards in time, but
Yeah.
they can say many different things probably cause it.
Hit me up once more, Danny.
I will be pouring your Polar Seltzer Ruby Red Grapefruit.
It's brought to you
flavor.
by the fine people at Polar.
Yes, if you're looking for a delicious, non-alcoholic, watery, carbonated beverage,
It doesn't get
choose-
much better.
Doesn't,
Polar.
and their new
Polar.
flavors are coming out. So
New flavors are coming out.
We heard
Keep your heads up.
And one of these
flavors are
days, we'll get through to them.
coming out. One of these
You
days,
know, we are
this
now
love will know-
new members of the last podcast.
the last
network.
podcast
the
network.
last
So,
podcast.
maybe
network.
they listen to
Yeah.
one of their shows,
Let's hope.
and now we can get in. Maybe
That's
we get
right.
some more street cred.
I
Are you
hope so.
saying this is the bubble in the door
this is?
Wow!
under the cap
Oh my God!
before the storm?
I don't know.
The storm is you're 2 for 3, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You know, I worked with him.
You worked with Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, like about.
What did he die of?
5. He's still. He looks pretty bad, but he hasn't died yet.
He's
I don't
okay.
think. But yeah, he looked.
He doesn't look so good, huh?
No, he's a little. He's up there though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know,
Fight Club
you know
takes it out of
you
you.
know the rules, man. You got to refrigerate meat. You know, Meatloaf's been out there for at least 40 years.
Okay, you call yourself a comedian? Get out of here.
Did I ever tell you that my dad has this funny story? He had a friend who was an Italian immigrant.
Did the Italian immigrant get appendicitis?
No.
So
but
then,
I
what
mean-
the fuck is the story about?
Well, it's about Meatloaf.
Go ahead.
And he called his buddy to hang out one day, and his mom picked up the phone. She speaks,
Italian.
broken English and only Italian. So he's like, "Hey, is Mike home?" And she goes, "Oh, Mike no home. Mike could go see meatballs." And then I asked my dad, I was like, "Does that mean that he went to go see the movie Meatballs?"
No.
And he's like, "No, that was out after my time, son." She was talking about Meatloaf. So, anywho, you can cut that out.
What happens? That's what happens when you punch a meatloaf really hard and it shatters into mini versions of itself, and then you have to defeat those two.
Oh my God. How do they pull it out, Mike? How do they get rid of your appendix?
For the listener, you're not going to get to enjoy this as much as some of our viewers.
don't
because-
show the viewers.
Oh, okay.
You
Won't
can,
show
I mean, if
Yeah,
you want to.
we'll throw some photos up on the Danny
with
Mike
some
website.
graphic sagittal views
Yeah.
of me being sliced in half.
Are you mad because you had a perfect,
The answer to
a
the are
perfectly
you?
shaped? Do you have?
I
are
did
you-
have a perfectly
you
shaped
did.
navel.
I know you have a perfectly shaped navel. I noticed that about you. It's something I noticed. It just
I'm
keeps
a
your
monster.
features.
You know what? I took a picture of it before.
You're a monster.
I'm a monster now. I took a picture of my
As you
my
were doubled
perfect-
over in pain, you're like, "This is the last time I'm going to take a picture of my perfectly sized navel."
I did. I took a picture of my belly button.
Wait, does
before I
that mean
went
that
in.
it gets? Is it getting bigger?
It means it's going to look like yours now, Jeremy.
Mine looks fine. Mine's an innie. Mine's a deep innie because of
Yours
my
is,
weight.
I was going to
Well,
say yours
sorry.
is an innie, but it has an event horizon around it.
Mine's an innie too, bro.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I could smuggle lint in there before. I'm not sure if I could smuggle
Ugh.
lint in it now.
I don't know why that wouldn't heal back though.
Let's check in every
Yeah,
few months.
yeah.
We could do a segment called House Mike's Navel.
How's the balloon knot? Do you
That could mean something else.
A
jerk
balloon
off.
knot could definitely mean something else,
No,
buddy.
that's the belly buttons. Don't be gross, guys.
An Ohio balloon knot.
Yeah. Well, gents, what do you think about wrapping this little episode up?
I would wrap it up like my belly was wrapped up after the operation.
Man, coming in hard
it.
again.
But actually, no, I woke up, my uncle was there, I was all whacked out, and my shit was all like smeared with kind of iodine.
yeah.
You wake up all yellow.
and you think it's blood.
Exactly,
know-
but it's not.
It's not blood.
It would have been so Michael C. Morona to have an appendicitis during the wedding. He's standing up there. And just all of a sudden he starts doubling over. I'm just speaking my vows, being so just
Little-
right in the
little-
moment.
little
All of a sudden Mike
Little
goes
scene
down.
Oh, like when
Scene
somebody,
hogging.
like when somebody,
Oh my
like,
God, is he okay? Get a medic! Medic! But
Like
can
when
we
somebody
finish
gets-
our vows? Oh, he's puking up.
yeah, we
Looks
gotta
like
get,
he's got a fever.
gotta get him right now.
He's not farting. There's a problem.
He's off schedule.
He's off schedule, and that's when I break it. I'm finally like, oh,
Wow.
What?
Wait.
He's not farting? That's a
That's
problem. That's a problem.
yeah.
Call him medic.
Yeah, stat.
Well, we're glad you're okay, and we're glad
It's not like when you get engaged at somebody else's wedding, right?
I didn't get engaged at somebody else's wedding.
it sounded like it.
Jeremy, it kind of
For the
Guys,
listener, when Danny
guys,
gave the
that's
best man speech at Brendan's wedding,
bullshit.
at Brendan's
I
wedding.
hate that.
a bunch of people at the.
I'm sure Brendan
it
did
had
too.
It had the vibe of like Danny's asking Kate to marry him.
Absolutely not.
But it wasn't.
there was one line in there, and it was.
Well, the build up to that one line was the thing. That's
It
what.
wasn't. The build up
Yes,
to
it
that
was.
line was me saying, "Hey, I want to know. I want to come back in a year, and you answer these questions for me about being married."
Okay.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay. I'm
Get
just
outta
telling
here.
you as
That burns my ass that Mrs. O'Rourke came up to me afterwards like, "Did you just propose?" It's like, I would never do that.
So it was her.
I would never do
She
that.
wanted it. She wanted it more than you did.
Well, we're glad you're okay, Mike. We're glad, Danny, that you got hitched. And
Let's check in a couple of weeks when I go see the surgeon again.
Yeah.
The surgeon was just a great guy.
yeah,
He's a composer of films and television. And I know you're trying to wrap this up.
is that
Federico what?
Gatorno.
true?
Oh, Federico Catorno, the only Italian in the building, gets.
There's
I'll
plenty
cut
of
them up.
Italians. Plenty of Italians in the building, but he was a good surgeon, and we talked about laparoscopies, and it was a wonderful.
Did you talk about Italian soccer?
We talked about Ennio Morricone. We didn't talk
Whoa.
about soccer one time.
No.
Wow.
Interesting.
He's kind of a
World Cup's coming.
big guy.
I'm just saying that,
I think Italy's not in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
Yeah.
selected. USA's not in it either.
Neither is
Correct.
USA, yes.
Italy's not in it.
Italy is not in it. No.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
They
boy.
could have been. They could have been.
fucked it, yeah.
And Gigi Buffon fucked that up for everybody.
Oh man, that was right.
Unfortunately.
I hope he gets appendicitis.
Gentlemen,
Yes. What do you say we wrap
Let's
this up?
wrap it
Hey,
up. We're
we-
a part of the
the Last Podcast Network.
Yeah.
And very proud
Happy
of
to
it.
be here.
Yeah, thanks so much. And give us my name. I'm at Remy Balin. Jesus Christ. At Remy Balin.
Are you having an appendicitis? Is it contagious?
it's not.
Son of a
It
bitch.
doesn't spread.
I also have another podcast called Fresh Beef. Check that out. This is Danny Tamborelli at D Tamborelli or on Instagram at Danny Tamborelli because,
Because I couldn't
difficult.
get both. I wanted to have both, but I could not get both.
Greedy, greedy,
Could've sent
greedy.
a message to the anyway. And this is at Michael C. Morona. Give him a shout if you have any political views you want to spout.
Or medical, unsolicited
medical-
medical advice.
Comic
Yeah.
books.
That's right.
Gamergate.
Right.
Whatever you like.
Right.
Whatever. That is the one. I'm sorry. We're not going. We are wrapping this
We,
up right now.
this is the
but we
never
just-
wrap up
This is the
episode.
never ending.
Wrap up.
I knew that something had happened to Mike before he had told me that he had an appendicitis because I saw his constant Twitter interactions that were just happening. So I was like, he must be sick or something. He's laid up because it was like
I had time.
He had like 8 hours in a row of shit going on.
I had time of recuperating time. Not allowed to run around.
Good thing it wasn't a heart attack because you wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
You would not be able to get on Twitter and start
Nice.
going hard.
That's true.
like
I probably would be part of my prescription would be no Twitter.
that. No
Well,
Twitter.
Plus, you and the boy would have to cut the bacon.
No, you know what? It's been great. Speaking of wrapping this up, it's been so great. I like belatedly gave up bacon for Lent.
Okay.
And then kind of made jokes about it with my bacon lady the whole time, like, oh, let's see,
Yeah.
see you in April. And I've only had a pound of bacon since April 1st.
So it's not. So it's not the bacon. It wasn't the bacon that did it.
no,
Yeah.
no,
That's good.
And I don't even miss bacon. It's so weird, but I do for it, so you don't have to call.
I'm gonna start a documentary on what exactly
Changing Mike.
causes appendicitis.
Changing Mike.
Because you know what? I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that goes after the guy that hurt my fake TV brother.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna find out how an appendicitis happens
He's
and
going-
never have it happen again.
He's gonna pull like a Seth Green in a heist movie.
Yeah.
And use he's gonna hack all the surveillance cameras in New York City to go backwards and to take me back in time, like I was talking about, and be like, oh, it was when he had that dirty water dog.
I'm just gonna get rid of it. It's just gonna be like when
Ripper.
when they
It was the
circumcise
Ripper.
little boys.
Okay.
I'm just saying
and scene.
when that happens, then I can be like, hey, guess what? Whenever all the babies are born, we're taking all your appendix
Yeah.
just to make sure.
just
wow.
to check.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
That's my
useless.
prevention.
You can keep your foreskin, take the appendix. It's kind of like the got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, keep the foreskin.
Keep the foreskin.
Take
Take
the
the
appendix.
That's a great episode.
And
Before we do, check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/Danny
and Mike with the N spelled out.
Danny.
Go to hell, guys. Patreon members, thank you.
And give us a look. See, thanks for tuning in.
And just one more thing.
hit cut.
Just kidding. Bye.
The Adventures of Danny and Mike stars Danny Tamborelli and Michael C. Morona. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balin. This podcast is part of the Last Podcast Network, which can be found at lastpodcastnetwork.com. Make sure to check that out for a ton of great shows. For more information on the guys, visit our website at dannyandmike.com. Also look us up on Twitter at Danny and Mike with the N spelled out, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Thanks for listening.